Oh, man.
Streaming live through the internet airwaves on your phone, tablet, or computer on Facebook Live and YouTube. It's time for the Dallas Prospect. Every legend was once a prospect. Here are your hosts, Law Nation, Silver and Blue Nation's Big Game James, and Derek Diamond Dallas Prospect.
Man,
I still get goosebumps listening to that thing, man.
Hey, I told you when he says, and from Silver&Blue Nation, Big Game James. You know.
Yes.
Yeah. He said, your host. Made it sound official, didn't he? He said, your host.
Hell yeah, man. Hey, last night was crunk, man. We did it up last night, so we finna do it up again tonight.
Nah, we do. We don't give a hell. We just come with the thunder. It don't matter. You make you like Stevie Wonder. I'm trying to rap like you. Feel me?
Oh yeah, man. But you can still bring the thunder, man. All we got to do is put these pieces together, man. That's all we got to do. DDP, man. What's up, man?
Man, nothing much. I'm fired up for this episode here. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about.
A lot of good stuff. Crazy 88s.
88888 888. Hey, what happened when you cancel that order? Do you say you 89 that order?
Man, I don't know, but it looks like something may be going down here very soon. I already got through my emotional, so I'm good now.
I mean, I'm surrounded by eights, man. A lot of people out there in the Cowboys community think that I hate Dez Bryant, but the fact of the reality remains the same. It's about money, you know. And when you're talking about paying a player that much money, and I'm not talking about the reason versus results. We all saw a Koye film out there. Everybody inboxing me a Koye fan. Newsflash, me and Okoye talk. We review films together. So please, people out there, stop sending me those damn clips. Because like I said before, hey, it is what it is, man. We got to get things going one way or another. So, hey, DDP, man, what's on that top of that run sheet, man? Go and tell us what it is, man.
Man, I think we got to lead off with some Dez Bryant talk. Had a big development come down today. We find out that Jerry Jones and Dez are going to be meeting on Friday. And I had initially heard that a decision was expected to come down, like the deadline was Monday. I'm now starting to think, based on some other stuff, we might hear something sooner. What do you guys think? What do you think this means?
Well, I told y'all a little bit earlier what I thought. I jumped up early this morning. You know, the Dez Bryant was heavy on my mind, especially when they said they were going to have to talk with him. You know, Fish, I told you he's the guy that backs Dez like no other. He's the Dez Bryant guy. And when he's talking about there's a lot of people in the building, when he says there's a lot of people in the building that don't want Dez Bryant there anymore, okay. And then when he's saying that voluntary workouts are coming up this Monday, and we've seen this before with other players where they do not want you to come into the facility because if you get hurt, your salary is guaranteed. And when they're saying they don't want him coming in the building, and that's why they're having this talk, well, that tells me it's real. And when they're saying they're going to approach him about taking a pay cut, and we all know Dez Bryant has a lot of pride. He's going to be thinking in his head, I played and put my soul on the line for Dallas, injuries and everything, and y'all just going to tell me to take a pay cut and just like that? I can see Dez Bryant just saying, you know what, bump that. I'm going to go somewhere and really, Dez Bryant is about revenge too. You can tell that you know fire going to be in his belly. So it's real to me. And then, you know, if that does really happen, we have money or they have that money, they're going to have to do something in this draft. And the things are being talked about already, that there's going to be some big splash to counteract the Dez Bryant thing.
Hey, man, you speaking to fire, man. And the thing is, guys, when you're talking about money, you know, let's just look at the bigger picture. I do know that everybody thinking you can't win games without Dez.
Yes, you
but
can.
Let me ask you this, man. What are our records with Dez? You know, just go heart finding. I want everybody to pull out the stats.
I know we got stat munchers out there. Get them stat munchers. Get stat patrol. Where they at? Get them out.
Stat patrol, man. I want you to see. Find them stats. Pull them out. We gonna start from 20. Well, he started 2010, right?
Uh-huh.
2011,
Uh-huh.
2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, and 2016. Let's pull out the win-loss column. I'm not talking about, okay, you can't win without a dominant wide receiver. And I do know that somebody going to say, yeah, it's blasphemous, man. But the thing is, we see the Patriots of the world, and I hate pulling them up. We see other teams out there. And I can just say this, the Philadelphia, the filthy death of the Eagles that they are, they didn't have a caliber player of Dez Bryant, but they hosted the Lombardi Trophy for the first time. So I want everybody to bring out the stat munchers. I want y'all to tell me the win-loss record with Dez.
Hey, we got to find out because even when Dak Prescott came in after his rookie year, when Dez got hurt, I thought this was my personal opinion. This was not saying I foreshadowed anything, but just when I saw Dak without Dez, Dak played better. Dak didn't fall off. We go into Green Bay 2016 and boom, we didn't have Dez
Yep.
then, beat them, and everybody was like, "Ooh, worried about Dez." Dak played phenomenal, but of course he did have Ezekiel Elliott. That's a huge thing. Ezekiel ran for like 190 something yards that game. But at the end of the day, I just don't feel the heart says I love Dez. I don't want to see him go. The mind says it's probably the right thing to do because we have to probably move on from that situation because at the end of the day, it's going to be addressed next year. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The only reason why we were talking about law yesterday, the only reason why I would say you want to keep him one more year because we don't want to have to go after a receiver in the first round. Now it changes everything. Before we were going to have to we could possibly got a good defensive player or maybe the best player available.
Mm-hmm.
Now you don't have a Dez Bryant there. Now you're looking at, now they're probably going to grab a receiver in the first round. Then you go start the same thing back over, paying a receiver a lot of money because he's a first round guy. But is there really a guy? They're talking about Calvin Ridley. Is there really a guy like that to do that? I don't know.
Man, if this team don't get off that silly sauce, man, and get somebody in defense that can slap some people around and put their presence out there on the field, that is where you win the game. I do know that the flash player like the Calvin Ridleys of the worlds and whoever we may do, I do know the Cortland Sutton kid, he would sell a lot of jerseys. But I'm gonna take my focus off Dez right now. I'm gonna pull up a quick hit on you guys. Let me ask you this: DDP
Yo,
and also Big Game James.
Okay.
When Megatron left the Detroit Lions, how much did they fell off? Did they actually go to the playoff without Megatron, or did they actually pretty much remain the same? I'm gonna ask you guys that question.
I think it took them 2 seasons. I think they started really hot the first year without him and then fell off. And then I think they got back the next year.
Well, I'll be the first to say on paper, I actually have a homeboy. He hit me up and I got in his inbox and I told he always bashed Matthew Stafford because I've always loved Matthew Stafford. I've always liked Matthew Stafford. I don't care if he ain't won no playoff. I don't care. I like Matthew Stafford. But I told him as soon as Calvin Johnson retired, I said, watch, Matthew Stafford going to have a better year without Calvin Johnson being there. And what did he do? He came in there and balled out without Calvin Johnson being there. The next year, he balled out because Matthew, it doesn't matter. And it's already been proven. Well, you saw Julio Jones, Antonio Brown, these top flight number one guys. You don't need those type of guys we seen to win games. You just need a good, solid receivers, a good offensive line. You can have a great running back. You just need that solid. You need a good tight end. You need a team. It's no longer where you feel like you have to go out there and reach and get that number one guy. We're seeing so many times you can get these guys in second, third, fourth, and fifth rounds now and be very productive. And that's what these teams are looking at now because they don't want to pay these players all this money now.
No doubt. DDP,
Yeah.
man, what you got?
I mean, if they were to look to draft a receiver, to me we already know that a decision is going to come down before the draft regarding Dez Bryant. But if their thinking is that they're going to let him go and draft his replacement, while this offense's identity is built around the run game, it's still a thing where whoever you pick, he's not going to provide the same kind of threat. Even with Dez's kind of diminishing numbers, usually when you draft a receiver, unless it's like a rare exception like an Odell Beckham, you're not going to have a guy who comes in year one and lights the league on fire. You're really not going to have a whole lot in year two. It's usually year three when a guy takes off for the most part. There's been a couple, I would say, kind of exceptions in recent years. But I, I don't like the idea of taking a receiver at 19. You have too much need on the defense. It doesn't make sense to me to take a receiver that soon just so you can replace Dez. And then you're not even getting really an equal trade-off in that regard. And the other possibility that I'm afraid that they're going to consider is the idea of trading back in the first round and taking a first-round receiver somewhere around 28 to 33 and picking up an extra pick to think that they can still get then another good player to try and patch the defense. It's like forsaking the elite player with the thought of getting two very good players. And I don't really like that idea either, especially with some of the guys that could be falling to you at 19 or right around there if you even wanted to move up a little.
Well, let me ask you this because this is what I've been hearing. First of all, let me give a quick shout out to everybody that's in here. I don't know, in the Facebook Live, Katina, Kevin, Mama T, Terry Turner, Stephen Gross, a few more, Harold, my dog, Taurus Cunningham, Daniel Caladeria, Columbus Jones. We got a lot of people. Arterio Sato, Annette, Frederick Garrett, just everybody in here. Shout outs to everybody. But I got a little scenario that we was talking a little bit about where I told you about the if they do get rid of Dez Bryant or if they cut him and then they have that money, they are going to probably make a splash. It's in Dallas. Jerry Jones, if they got that $8 million or whatever money that they have available, they're going to make a splash. They're going to do some kind of trading. They're going to do something. And Earl Thomas thing is going to come back alive again because what it's been saying is the Dallas Cowboys are going to have to do something to appease the fans for leaving Dez Bryant out there. So they're going to go out there and try to make a splash. What also I've been hearing is that possibly with this DeMarcus Lawrence thing, he's only signed a 1-year deal. And Mike Fisher's been saying they loads and years and light years away from signing a deal. So if that's happening, they're saying that Harold Landry, who's been jumping up on the boards, and Vash Lombardi's been talking about him as well. I showed some tape on him. He's a monster from Boston College. They could scoop him. What they're saying, they could scoop him with the thought of DeMarcus Lawrence. If he don't sign and he goes somewhere else, now you got somebody who's just as good possibly and cheaper, and then they go after Earl Thomas with using a pick and scooping Earl Thomas. Now you solidifying that defense. People don't talk about Dez Bryant no more because you came in and brought something else to improve that.
Yeah, man. Go ahead, EDP. Because my thing is to here, and I do know a lot of fans, and it is from older crowds too as well, but the falling in love player that just doesn't work. We see all of this back and forth with, hey, we need to keep this player, we need to sign D-Law and all this. We need to figure out a way that once we sign a player, because I challenge anybody, what was the last Dallas Cowboys player that we signed to big money and then all of a sudden they showed up the next year? Everybody that we signed with big money, they disappeared like Casper the Ghost. So it's something that we need to figure out with this Cowboys nation that, hey, it's time out. So it's a prove it deal for D-Law. And if he don't show up and show out, then
he's gonna be gone.
He's gone. It's the bottom line. Mm-hmm. But DDP, go ahead, do your thing.
Man, if you can get Landry, I absolutely go get him. That's one of the guys who's absolutely, as you said, Vach has been hot on him and really pushed him. I really like what I see out of him, and I think that's a great idea, actually, that they look to kind of groom him as being your DeMarcus Lawrence replacement. You don't have to worry about paying him big money. The thing is, you win. I mean, it's so cliche to say, but you win championships with a defense. If you already have an offensive line that's top tier, it's not necessarily the best offensive line right now, but if you already have a top tier offensive line with an all-pro running back and a safe but capable quarterback most of the time, I think it makes sense to invest in that defense more, because that's where you're going to make the difference. That is your identity at that point. Instead of just trying to do what we did in 2014 and even in 2016, where it's like, hey, just keep the ball away from them, and that's how we play defense, basically. Forget that, man. Like, Go take the ball from them. Go punch them in the mouth. Get dogs, get guys that will maul them on the field and make their offense afraid to step on the field. That's what I want. I want to see that, and then you mix that with the Zeke run game. Dude, that's how you're going to get number 6, not by investing in another wide receiver in the first round.
That is correct. And just to bounce off that real quick, because I want to, stay on it, because I know we got other subjects, but just to bounce off of that, I don't mind, a lot of people have been getting on Stephen Jones, him being cheap, and he's changing the whole team, and he's doing things of that nature. He's just, but if we're talking about the following the model of the Patriots and things of that nature, these things were happening. They weren't spending a lot of money on these other players. They weren't going out and doing those type of things. They were cutting these guys right before they fell off. They were getting rid of players right before their contracts were done. So you're seeing that same type of model. So if we're Cowboys fans, we either have to understand it's either one way or the other. Either we got to be shrewd and do the same thing with all the players and the coaches, because if you're going to be cutting Dez and doing all that, make sure you cutting Jason Garrett if he ain't getting nowhere this year, because I don't want to hear about you cutting Dez or coming at Dez and this, and then you give Jason Garrett another couple of years because he just happened to get in the playoffs again. To hell with that. Use that same model with your players as your coaches. So if you come in hard line with these players, you better be coming hard line with Jason Garrett and Scott Linehan and those dudes, because they're the reasons, to me, the reason why we haven't taken the next level, not just these players.
No doubt.
So let me answer a question, man. No Dak Ninja, he came up with the stats, man. Shout out and salute to him. He said, Law Nation, with Dez Bryant, they 42-37 with Dez Bryant. And we got another guy from the gallery. We got Matt. He says, Dallas idiots. If they cut Dez, the X is going to create unnecessary holes. So he's with that philosophy. If we cut Dez Bryant, I meant to say, it would be an unnecessary hole. So I want you guys to fill in on that topic there.
Where did he pick?
So I still think that there is a path for Dez staying in Dallas, and I still actually, although...
Oh, you're cutting out.
Where you go?
Oh, Murphy, shout out to Murphy.
Shout out to Murphy.
Wherein Dez does stay in Dallas. Maybe it's a situation where he takes a smaller pay cut and then gets like an incentive-based structure to it, essentially, where he can earn back that money. It still hurts the pride, but I think Dez wants to stay in Dallas unless they just, it depends on what the pay cut is, right? If we're talking about a little bit and it hurts your pride, if we're talking about like
taking no pay cut,
I still think that it's going to be a situation more than likely where they can come to some kind of agreement. My gut's just telling me that even with the way things look, I think Dez is going to be here for at least this one more year. I think it's going to be a situation like that where it just comes, where it's something where he can basically get through incentives, kind of make up that difference. But we'll see.
I don't know. My gut feeling on this. I don't even want to give I ain't giving no gut, because when I give guts, I look stupid, and then they be like, "Yeah, your gut sucks." So I ain't giving a gut, but just what I feel in my heart. What I feel in my heart, man. I just feel like you don't have all this stuff come up like this, and then they say, "Oh, okay, well, everything's good. Now let's go back and play football." It just don't seem like that. It don't seem like it has all this controversy just for it to end good, and then everybody's all good and everybody's happy again. It just don't seem like it's going to end that way now. That's in my heart. You had all this stuff coming up, and now all of a sudden it's going to be good. It just doesn't seem like it. Honestly, this is what I was talking to somebody I knew today. I feel like they grew tired of it. When Dez in his younger years and Romo was there, was because Romo was that lead over him. Dez had to come up for him, and it was Romo's team. So you could have Dez blowing up and whatever. Romo, those guys could get him together, and it was kind of like he was young. But now they're looking at like they're trying to make Dak Prescott this leader. Dez is 29, and I'm telling you, those last couple of games, especially I think that Seattle game, when he was blowing up on the sidelines, going back to the old Dez. I love Dez, but this is real. I feel like these are real situations. When he was blowing up on the sidelines, I feel like they're like, you know what? We're tired of hearing this. We're tired of seeing this. And then when you come back and make a catch and then you fumble the next play, you don't think they're sitting up in the booth looking at that? You don't think
No,
they're
no
sitting up in
doubt.
the stands and sitting there thinking, you know what, this is more thin. We don't want to keep seeing this. We don't want to see no more. And then you're not matching this. So how do you know that at that time when they're seeing those blow-ups, they're not sitting there saying, guess what, we're tired of this. And you're either going to do this or you're gone. And that's either way it's going to be. And I think with Dez's pride, I just feel like he's going to be like, you know what, I'm out.
hmm And the whole thing is, like I said, those convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. I'm not saying that I want Dez Bryant to walk away and go. What I'm saying is that, hey, with
It's
13,
real, though.
14 million dollars, man, come on, man. Hey, you take that money, you can flex it out and help this young defense out, and defense win championship. Now, if you don't want to win championships, if you just want to look cute out there, throw up the eggs every Sunday or every other Sunday, then go ahead and do that. That's doing the same thing over and over again. That what kills me about the Dallas Cowboys fickle fan base out there. We want to be great, but we don't want to do what it takes to be great. We want to sit around here, walk around, and tell everybody how about them Cowboys. But we want to sit back and say, just like somebody in the comment who left a crazy comment and said, Dak Prescott is trash. Like you got name me any other second year quarterback record that's better than his. And I'll sit and wait. I'll sit there and listen to what you have to say. Or better yet, do about 2 or 3 videos to prove the fact that he's trash. And I can rebuttal and show you plans and processes that he go through. And guess what? The reason why Allen Hurns signed with the Dallas Cowboys, because when he flew out here, the first person he saw out there by himself practicing, doing his thing out there was, guess who? Dak Prescott. So you mean to tell me that Tony Romes, and I'm not trying to compare Dak Prescott to Tony, but you mean to tell me Tony focus was on football? Come on, man. He was trying to work on his golf swing. We need people like Dak Prescott out there on the field, practicing and studying, and improving on his craft. Now, one thing I know, and I'm from Mississippi, and I know this one thing: Mississippi State was trash. That was a trash organization for many of years. And you mean to tell me that this quarterback from nowhere, from nowhere, took this team to be like top 10, top 3, top 4 in the nation? I think at one point, the hell, they was number 1 in the nation. You talking about Mississippi State? If you guys ever
he took him from unranked to what, number 1, and I think that was one of the first times in history that had been done, taking an unranked team to number 1 in the nation. He did it, put the whole team on his back.
No doubt.
Yeah, but see, everybody say, "Oh man, he trash." Man, I got some video and film and tape that, hey, without the big number 77 and those big old holes that we had on the line last year with Cooper, a guy named Bell, and a guy named Chaz Green that was looking like they can lay down, and grandma out there can push more weight than them. They're out there on the field. You mean to tell me that he's supposed to be out there looking like John Elway, Joe Montana, or Tony Romes out there? Come on now. Go back and watch the film.
Go back and look at Elway's first couple of years. They struggled. If you look at all those top receiver quarterbacks, except maybe like a Dan Marino, Elway and them struggled. Well, everybody dogs, you can't even compare him to John Elway, and I'm not. I'm just saying, if you look at John Elway, he had the monkey on his back for how long? They used to say he used to choke all the time. So they say it about everybody, man. People just need to chill out, be quiet, happy we got a quarterback, because we can always go back to Chad Hutchinson, or we can always go back to Ryan Leaf.
Or Brandon Weeden.
We can always go back to that. Does Cowboys fans? It was only a few years when we had Brandon Weeden and Matt Castle. It was only a couple years when we was looking and I was screaming and crying every time I seen them hike the ball and I knew they was going to throw a stupid pass. I don't want to see that no more. So guess what? I'm happy with Dak Prescott. Only second year winning quarterback. You got another year to show and prove, and I feel like he is. And let's give him time to. And if he don't, then guess what? We move on and find somebody else if he don't do it. It's real easy.
There you go, man. It's so easy, guys. Man,
it's real damn easy. If you don't do it, get somebody else. Damn it, somebody else. That's what they're supposed to do. And ain't that what we do at work? You don't do your job, it's on.
And all the stat munchers out there, man, I want y'all to go back and find me Tony Romes. And I'm not trying to say Dak Prescott is better than Tony, but name me 2 years that he had consistently back-to-back winning seasons. I'll sit and wait. I'm waiting. Put that in the box. Go ahead, DDP, man. Put us back on track, man.
I was trying to think of an answer to your question, honestly.
No, they can't pull it out because they can't say, man.
Because 08 they fell back. 09 they were better. They've always alternated years pretty much with Romo, unless it was 8-8, 8-8, 8-8. But yeah. Quick shout out, Michael Sinclair. We also got Albert Pays and Dolian Wilson here in the YouTube chat.
What up?
Guys, thanks for listening. All right, so how about we tackle James? You alluded might be the splash move Dallas looks at in the draft, especially if the parting with Dez thing happens. If that comes down, whether it's Monday, if they move on from Dez, it could definitely be a almost like a makeup call and a splashy move to the fans to make a move and trade for Earl Thomas. Now, I was trying earlier to find the report I saw on this, but there was a mention that a scenario for Dallas getting Earl Thomas would require picks number 50 and 116. That's Dallas's second and fourth round pick. Do you take that is Earl Thomas worth that to get here for you? Law, let's start with you real quick.
Man, I'll squeeze them because they don't have a second round pick, from my understanding, and I don't think they have a third round pick. Deadline make deals. I think that we should just stick to our board. If we want to make the splash, in the first, we can do that. We got 10 picks. We probably can move up and lose our second round pick, and then with our third round, then we say, hey, we knock on the Seattle Seahawks door and say, hey, you're gonna have to pay the man eventually $10 million. You don't have a third round pick. Let's just go ahead and I give you pretty much $10 million, and I'm also going to give you my third round pick, and just let bygones be bygones. Let me go ahead and move on with the guy. You know what I mean? So we can still get our first round draft pick, or move on up and get whoever we wanted, whoever we have our eye on, and pretty much be happy with him with Earl Thomas with a third and maybe conditionals. Maybe you can throw in a incentive base and say, okay, if Earl reach 5 interceptions, we'll give you a next year's third or next year fourth or something like that. Hell, that's better than any other results that we had in the past anyway. So why not will and deal that way?
Yeah. What do you think, James?
I mean, damn, he just took everything out of people's mouths. So I just say, all right, well, I mean, you said a second and a fourth?
Yep. Pick 50 and 116.
A second and a fourth for Earl Thomas. I don't know. That just I think I'm feeling Law because it just seems rich.
Yeah,
it just seems rich. You know, all these other teams are not doing that. You know, it's like these other teams are giving up like quality players, and they're not giving up second and fourths. You know what I mean? Yep. They're not doing that. So why should we have to get squeezed for Earl Thomas, who I still say I love Earl all day, but he has had injuries. A major injury. He
Achilles.
is 28. Achilles is big. We don't know if another one can, you know what I'm saying? We don't know if another one can blow out. You know what I'm saying? And he's 29. Yep. He'll be 29. So those are the factors that are really blowing up in my mind. Second and fourth seems real rich for a guy who's 29 and coming off injury.
Yep. I think I misspoke earlier. I believe he had a broken leg. I think the Achilles was Sherman. But yeah, I agree. It's a 29-year-old safety. As great of a ball hawk as he is, as great as he is going sideline to sideline, it's still an undersized guy, a little bit of an undersized guy. And a second and a fourth is really rich, especially when you then consider that he's going to immediately want a new contract, paying him $10 million plus a year. I think that's too rich to deal with. As bad as I want Earl Thomas, and as nice as it would be to get him after losing out on Dez, I just don't think that's a price I'm willing to pay if I'm Dallas. I think you squeeze them for something a little more favorable. Hell, I think you could maybe make something work day two even. As Law was saying, I don't think Seattle has a lot of picks, especially rounds 2 and 3. So I think you could absolutely squeeze them day 2 and still find something serviceable that doesn't feel quite as backbreaking. You also do have to consider, though, the championship window as far as Dak's not making money, making a lot of money window. You pretty much have, just this year, because they're going to sign him to his new extension, you would assume, at the end of this season. So at that point, I think you're looking at essentially the closing of your window for your ideal go win it now while you can afford to pay other guys instead of your quarterback.
When you pay your quarterback big money and when you pay your wide receiver big money, you don't win the Super Bowl. You don't win anything. And I just have to say that, there's so many things out here that Cowboys Nation, we fall in love with the players, we fall in love with the glamour position, but you got to just figure out a way to focus on Ezekiel Elliott. You know for sure when Ezekiel Elliott is running the ball, he had that contagious tenacity out there, and he's going to bring in that extra safety down into the box. So with that being said, we do understand what we can do as far as defense. If we figure out a way to find a way to get Earl Thomas and find a way to will and deal Earl Thomas for probably for a third round pick, that would just help elevate the actual defense in the secondary, and also it will help the linebacker because the safety do point out things that need to be done out there, especially in the cover two scheme. So if we figure that out, and whoever we get in the draft, this team will be a better team collectively. Now, I'm not saying that, hey, you just get rid of everybody on your offense and say, okay, we're just going to focus everything around the Zeke. But what I'm saying is we got to think collectively and think responsible and get this thing going. Big game. Go ahead and take it over.
I mean, thinking responsible is getting rid of Jason Garrett. That's how you think responsible. Well, we can't think like that right now because he's going to be there. So, I mean, as I said before, we can get all excited about that, but I feel like the coaching staff still got to be on blast. Like I said, we can get rid of Dez Bryant, bring in somebody, Earl Thomas, somebody, move up. Darren James has been talked about. We were talking about moving up and getting Darren James. That would be something great to do too, because that's a game-changing guy that could change your secondary, can be in there for 10 years. But it don't freaking matter if the guys can't coach. So as I said before, Stephen Jones, stay over top of Jason Garrett, because I don't like listening to his stupid little interviews where he just says the same stupid things. So I don't want to see the same stupid things coming out this season when we get some good players. You can get a good players in the draft. Get a Landry. Let's say we get those guys. Coaches got to coach them up. So they got to be on blast too and putting these guys in the right positions and not having the same dumb, boring offense like we did and being predictable. Because I guarantee you, if Dez Bryant is gone, you better be able to coach your ass off now, because now you don't have that. He is a playmaker. You don't have that. So you better coach up Dak. You better coach up that offensive line, and you better show your coaching skills if you plan to make all these major changes. Coaches better step the hell up to me more than any damn thing.
Speak the truth.
No doubt, no doubt.
I dropped the mic on that. Well, I just dropped it. Blow.
Boom, bam, man. That was cold-blooded,
DDP,
man.
I got a quick question. Didn't you have a topic? And I see, and make sure let me get shout outs to everybody up in here. What's up, everybody? I hear y'all. Yeah, y'all feeling me up in there in that Dallas prospect about Garrett being trash. Give me a holler and say, Big Game James, we feel you on Garrett being trash. Just throw your hands up in there and wave them just like you don't care. But you said something to me, DDP. I think you got a subject on there about linebacker who you're saying that is Broadus in love with him? Is it the Vander Esch kid?
Vander Esch, yeah, Vander Esch.
Is Brian Broadus in love with him?
Yes, he Broadus, and it sounds like a fair number of people within the Cowboys are very much feeling Vander Esch at 19.
And that's that BS. And you know why? And see, they're gonna get food. They got food with this is where the Cowboys sometimes get funny. They get somebody do a good combine, Byron Jones, and then you start getting all excited and you're like, oh, he can do this and he could do that. Well, he still played at Boise State. Okay.
Yeah.
I want some Oklahomas. I want some Alabamas. I want some big time players with some big time pedigrees. I don't want Boise States. We had 5 Boise States. Okay. And they're just okay. Scandrick was okay. Crawford, who else? DeMarcus Lawrence just now. I mean, Boise State ain't been ballers for us. What's the infatuation? The kid is 6'5", 260 pounds. He doesn't play to it. He has the 4.6 fit in the 40, but you don't see it on the field. He's just like a regular guy. Everybody so happy and excited about this? And if the Cowboys don't do anything and they were to pick him at 19, I'm gonna be pissed as hell that they went after a 19 and because of his combine. I don't want to hear that crap. You better go out there and get a player, not no Vander Esch. And I totally disagree with that. And I know Brian brought us the man. He could say, James, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. But I think I do. And I don't think he's going to be great.
Yeah, no, I agree with that totally. I would not be happy at all with that pick if they were to take Vander Esch at 19. I think at that point you're wanting, if it's me, I'm wanting either a linebacker if one of the really top guys that we like falls to that point, or I would also like Harold Landry that we mentioned earlier. I think elite defensive end makes a lot of sense as well for the pass rush. At that point, you're building an elite pass rush. So that's the direction I want to go with it. Hey, Law, I got a question. What do you think of the Notre Dame wide receiver? Let's see. Guy's got a crazy name. Let's say X St. Brown, EQ St. Brown.
Oh man,
I wasn't even gonna try and say that name.
I know somebody can say it, but I definitely can't do it either. I still have, to me personally, yeah, Equanimeous. Now, if he falls into like the third or fourth round, then yeah, but he's not gonna fall that far to me. It's just one of those things where I just don't. I'm just not heavy on wide receivers outside of DJ Moore or Christian Kirk. Maybe Big Game James know a little bit more about him because I just really not been focusing on him like that.
That question comes from Buddy Johnson, by the way, in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
What up, buddy? What up, buddy? Hey, I know about him. We saw him at the combine. That's producer G's guy. That's who producer G loves. I love DJ Chark. Some other guys. I like DJ Moore too. I'm gonna be honest with you. We seen Thomas. The dude is huge. I mean, you do get excited. If you saw him up close, you would get excited about him, Law. The kid is big. He's like a solid 6'3", big shoulders, and he's got a very, very cocky attitude. He's very carefree, but he works hard. Like when he got on that bench press, I think he threw like 23 on that bench. If you see him, he's smooth. And I got excited about it after you watch some of his tape. He plays to his size, too. He doesn't play small. He plays very big. So if Dallas were to draft him like third or fourth, I would not be mad at all at that pick. Not in the first or second or anything like that, but third or fourth rounds, I wouldn't mind addressing the receiver then. Like I said, I wanted DJ Chark in the fourth. I don't think he's going to last that long, but I like Thomas, and I think he could bring a lot to the table. I don't think he may instantly come in and, be like a dominant receiver, but he'll be a threat for real.
Okay. Very nice. So Law, did we get what your thoughts were on Van Der Esch at 19? If that's on the Brian Broaddus interview.
Hey man, if we get, I'm really see. Last year when we picked Taco Charlton, that show that day wasn't PG-13. It was one of those days where I couldn't hold it all in, and I had to end up deleting the video, but. It was one of those days where I knew what type of skill set that Taco Charlton had. And Van Der Esch is kind of like similar. He don't come from a good, sturdy program. And I do know that a lot of people going to mention like, oh, well, these players came from this program. Stop talking about the program. But what I'm saying is if you got, let's say, a Rashaan Evans out there, or even if you have, believe it or not, even if the Cowboys foolish enough, if you Vita Vea's right there and they say, well, we're going to stick with our philosophy. We don't like defensive tackles, and they get Van Der Esch. Don't you know how crazy that would be? Because we play, 75, maybe 80% of our snaps in nickel anyhow. And people fail to realize that everybody's sleeping on Jalen Smith. Jalen Smith, it will be 100% this year. And he will fly out to the ball. You guys going to see some explosive stuff coming from him. But neither here nor there. I do know that we still need linebacker help, but not Van Der Esch.
Exactly. Hey, DDP.
Yo.
I got a quick question for you. I got a lot of people in the chat box talking about these players, so I'm going to give them some shout-outs. I get a lot of people. So I'm listening to y'all. So we ain't forget y'all. We talking, but we ain't forget y'all. So I got people in there. A lot of people are mentioning, I don't know if you know about him, Jesse Bates. He's a safety. He's been high on the charts. Did any of y'all think anything about him? Because he's like, I'd say he's about the third-ranked safety out there right now. I believe Wake Forest is where he's coming from. I've seen
That's what I was trying to think, yeah.
What do you think about him? Or, no, I want to hit you with this, DDP, because you Oklahoma guy. The Oklahoma linebacker's been mentioned. Obi, what do you think about him?
Obo, yeah.
Obo.
So for
Obo, whatever the hell his name is.
Obagoya Okoronkwo, sir. Yeah, man. So Obo, man, he's a great pass rusher. He's a little undersized. I kind of feel like he's a tweener. Mm-hmm. He's a little undersized, but he's got good speed off the edge. He kind of works with how Oklahoma does their defense, and that's not at all to say that that's a great scheme that they run there. But you kind of always have that one speed rush guy off the edge, right? Before him, you had Eric Stryker. So he fits the mold well. I like what he can do. I don't even know what round he's projected to, honestly. I've had him, despite being an OU guy, I've admittedly had him that low on my radar where if they were to
fourth.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah, like a fourth, maybe fifth. If they were to take him somewhere, maybe if he was like the compensatory fourth round pick they got, I wouldn't mind it. But he's not a guy I think is going to come in and wreck shop immediately. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think he's a guy who would need 2-3 years to kind of bulk up, get to kind of get a feel for it. And I think you can just find other guys that can contribute to the team faster. That's just me being honest there. Like I said, even though he's an OU guy,
we
keep
want
it real.
honest opinions. We want you to keep it real.
real.
Just like I'm gonna keep it real. Somebody's jumped in there and said, "What about Deshaun Elliott in the second round?" I'm a Texas guy, and I'm gonna say hell to the no, because I like the Joker, but not no second round. He's not. He should have really stayed in college. He's stiff to me. I like him. He can make plays, but I told you the one thing I worry about with Elliott is in space because he's stiff in his hips. He doesn't have that good quick twitch and turn, and I feel like safeties and those quick receivers in the slot may give him problems. So draft him a little bit later. If you go after him, Cowboys, he said he would love to come to the Cowboys. I think he could be a good addition, just not so early. If we're going to get any kind of game-changing safety, move up and get Derwin James. That's the only kind of safety I want. Jesse Bates, good player. Maybe he could
Bates,
be maybe Bates could come in and be that guy. Maybe I'm just on Derwin James so hard. Maybe I'm just I like Bates, but I want a guy like Derwin James that's gonna come in and make a game change. We need a game changer. A young one would be great.
No doubt, no doubt.
No doubt. So anybody we get, I still have faith and hope in Chris. So hopefully Richards, hopefully he can just shape and mold him. And we already know that the players that we have now, we probably have to help them out. Because I can't just see us going into the season again with the Jeff Heaths of the world and Kevon out there. We got to have somebody out there just to help put out there.
Kayvon Frazier, I like Kayvon Frazier, but to me, I just never see Kayvon Frazier as a starting safety. I'm sorry. He just not that to me. He just has too many little limitations to me. He'll lay the wood on you for sure. We saw what he did to Rico Gathers, and we've seen him in games. He will lay the wood, but I just don't think he's going to do that full time. He's a part-time player. There's a reason why you get drafted that low. Not everybody who's a first-round pick probably deserves to be a first-round pick, but there's a reason why you was a sixth pick or a seventh pick. There's a reason why that happens. So you have some limitations. So I think you need to get guys out there that are coming in and are going to come in and start, especially in these first couple rounds. First 2-3 rounds, if we keep those picks, these guys need to come in and be starting and making differences. And one of the glaring needs that we have right now is the safety position. Because if they're talking about moving Byron Jones, maybe the corner, then like you said, the Jeff Heath or Kayvon Frazier, Xavier Woods, there's still a glaring need right there.
That's true. 100, man. That's 100 right there, man.
So what do you guys think of Jalen Smith apparently feeling substantially better than he did last season? Do you think he's ready to take on a bigger role, or do you think it's going to be more or less the same where you can kind of play him like 30 snaps a game and that's about it?
I think he's ready.
I think he's ready, man. You give a guy like Jalen Smith, a cerebral guy, somebody who's a student of the game, and you get him enough time to understand the system. And I heard 105.3 the fan. A lot of people saying he's going to move to Sam. Now, that's not the case nor the scenario, because he said, I would do what the coaches would want me to do because I'm just that type of guy. But collectively, I would play better at the mic, And anybody, he didn't come out like guns are blazing, like Lyle Collins said, nah, I'm not going to move to inside. I'm going to stay at right tackle. But he kind of played it kind of like PC wise and said, I feel better playing in the mic. I'm telling you right now, a healthy Jalen Smith, there's nobody in the draft now that can equate to him. Maybe somebody can say Tremont Evans is in the same window or in the same box or the same frame. But I'm telling you guys, man, if this guy is who he is and who he say he is at this point. And I do know that he was telling us a lot of lofty stuff last year. But man, if this guy can just really be that, you guys gonna see a major difference in this front four and a major difference also in the linebacking core.
No doubt.
Hey, well, I'm gonna tell you right now. I think he's definitely gonna be ready. I'm excited. He had a video where he had bowled, and he hadn't bowled in 2 years, and that means you can walk on them toes.
Yep.
Coming back from the drop foot, I feel like he's just getting him more confidence. People need to forget this will be his third year in the program. Even though this will be his second year playing, this is his third year in the system. So he knows what's going on. So mentally, he's even more capable of being stronger in the mental game. All he was waiting for was where he could trust his body. And you could see later in the year when he played less snaps, he was getting more and more comfortable with his role. And when you're getting more sensation in that foot and he's being able to do more things with the foot, that was his only hindrance. It wasn't nothing else. He was a top 2. He was a top 5 pick, and there's the reason why he was a top 5 pick. And now that foot is coming back the way you want. I think he's going to come in and be nasty. I mean, think about it. He was playing on really one foot, still played 16 games, and still had over 70 tackles. Imagine with him coming off and being full strength and being that monster. 100 tackles, dog. Middle linebacker. What he was doing at Notre Dame. That's why you drafted him in the second damn round.
Yeah. Before his injury, man, he was considered a generational talent. So if he's getting back to form, you got to think, last year, yeah, he was here the year before, but he didn't play, obviously. So last year was his rookie year. So you had a year of development for a guy that's considered cerebral. And if he's getting anywhere near 100%, which when he was 100%, he was considered generational talent and the kind of guy who could be a 10-year stalwart on the defense. That's what Stephen Jones and the rest of the executive told us. So if he can be anything like that, even just a solid guy in the middle, I'm happy with it. But yeah, I'm a little nervous moving him to Sam just because I'm a little weary of just adding that physical, stress on him. We move Sean Lee away from that to try and protect him a little bit. And I think in Lee's case, it added years to his career. I'm a little weary to do that with Jalen, but at the same time, if he really is 100% and they don't think it's a risk to re-injure or anything like that, then maybe it is worth it.
Yeah, well, you know what, DDP? We drafted him to be the man. You know what I'm saying? So this is the year that he needs to take over. We can't trust Sean Lee to be healthy all year. We already know he's going to get hurt. We know Sean Lee going to get hurt. So this needs to be the guy that needs to be that rock in that foundation. They were pumping him up last year. So this needs to be the year, if he's fully healthy, that he takes that next step and be that dominant force that we need him to be. And we need to get more guys around him that are animals and dogs. No puppies. None of the little softer guys that try to help you up when they knock you down. No. Push you in the ground. You said it earlier, DDP. Maybe you didn't say it with your chest, but I'm going to say it with mine. But I felt you say it, but I'm going to say it with mine. Guess what? I'm tired of the games. We need to get dogs, and this is the time for Jalen Smith to be that dog. It's time for us to make moves. We're in Dallas. It's time to show and prove. If Dez is gone, then we need to come out here with some thunder and let everybody know we ain't going to be the same old Cowboys. Somebody may be gone, but we're coming back with some fire. And it's going to be in there. And them stupid Philly fans going to be trying to be in there too. So we can't be having that, fellas. You feel me? Because I ain't trying to hear them punks up in there talking all that dumb trash up in our stadium because they won a stupid Super Bowl. We need to make things happen in that draft.
We do, man. We need to come locked and loaded and ready. Hey, let me ask you both guys this question. What is the identity of the Dallas Cowboys? Just let me know.
Man,
what is
got
the identity?
one.
What, run game? Pound.
Yeah. On both sides, like on offense, what's the identity of the offense? Right now, what is the identity?
Smash mouth football. Yeah, run the ball.
Zeke. Nothing else. Zeke.
Yep.
All right. So how you craft around the identity? How you improve the identity? I guess you go with a Will Hernandez, So that's just all I have to say on that. Now, as far as the defense, what is the identity of this defense? We don't
have one.
It's covered too. Yeah, we don't have one. But right now, we got
crafting one. That's different, though. We have a plan, it feels like, on defense again.
Because we got Chris Richard.
Okay.
Well, but I meant even last year drafting the corners we did.
Okay. But I see. Okay, you say that, DDP. we got them players, but the coaches got to get those guys in the playing positions because what was our problem? And Barry Church even brought it up. Too much rotation. Guys can't get in there. And what was I'll point out a game that just really bothered me, and I won't forget it was when I was watching us play the Philadelphia game and we played the Seattle Seahawks. Jordan Lewis was playing lights out, was sticky. The next thing I know, he goes out and I see Anthony Brown there on the outside. I'm like, why? Did Jordan Lewis get hurt? What's going on? That kind of stuff was just asinine to me. Like, why are you doing that? So at the same time we're drafting these guys and we have a plan, then make sure the guys that you're putting in the plan are playing the positions that need to make the plays, and they can't be sitting down and you're letting guys in there getting burnt like toast like Anthony Brown. Don't make no sense to me.
And you know what the real problem with that, with both sides of the ball, with Rob Marinelli and also with Jason Garrett, the problem is that we see that the Patriots, and I hate to say this, I had to pull it out there, the Patriots and the Eagles, and it's like less than I think it's like 4 teams altogether use analytics. And I don't think that they use analytics. I think they use more of their gut feeling like, hey, he played 5 snaps. Let's go ahead and put in this other guy. How much, I don't know, I know I'm throwing this out there to you guys, but how much do you think analytics plays a role with this Cowboys team? Because we know they ain't using analytics because they still got
in the 90s.
Jason Witten.
Yeah, they're still the 90s. I mean, they still running the same daggone pattern with Jason Witten, man. That is old and tiring. And
I'm surprised they even use the tablets at the sideline instead of just like booklets with the printed pages.
Yeah, I could see Garrett doing booklets of trying to do an old school philosophy. Man, you can have an old school philosophy if people are sitting there looking at you like, yes, because I believe in you. It's really hard for me to believe. Maybe I'm just hating right now, but it just seems hard for me to believe that all these players believe in Jason Garrett. I'm sorry. It's hard for me to believe everybody's just 100% behind him. I don't believe it.
Well, the thing is with Jason, it's part of nepotism or cronyism or whatever you might want to call it. But if and I know he's a Princeton graduate and all this stuff, but I wonder how much better, because I don't think that he's like office furniture at this point. I wonder how much better would he be if he just pick up analytics, just let me know,
I don't know. I don't know. I just know one thing. Some kind of analytics need to be coming there because it seems like whenever we get in a 4th and 1 and we're in the 40-yard line, that's why maybe Dan Bailey's legs all messed up. That's why Dan Bailey's legs messed up. You know why? Because we kick too many field goals. He getting tired of kicking field goals and his leg hurt. He getting hamstring pulls and groin pulls because anytime we get near that 40, we kicking a field goal. And so we'll drive down the field goal. Drive down the field goal. Drive down the field goal. They score a touchdown and a field goal, and we lose in typical Cowboys fashion.
Yep. Yeah, I think in the case of Garrett, he's ultra conservative, and yeah, that does lead to a heightened dependence on guys like Dan Bailey.
It's all right to go for 2 sometimes. What we're talking about?
It is, no doubt.
It's okay. It's okay to go for 2. And if you don't get it, it's okay if you didn't get it, because now maybe you have the other team thinking that they may try this again. So let's beware. So now you
just don't be the Pittsburgh Steelers with it. Don't do that.
I'm just saying that was kind of just dumb. But the problem with what does everybody say the problem is with the Dallas Cowboys? We are not just conservative. We are always too predictable. We are predictable. Like, we will go down the field predictably, and then we get stopped. We predictably will punt, or we will go after a field goal. Everybody, they know how we're going to start out, just like you said. First 2 downs, we run up the middle. 3rd down, we drop our dump pass. It's like everybody knows us, and that is our problem. We have no creativity. So when teams come in there, they already know what to do to beat us. And then once they get at us, it's like it's like they're taking the spirit away from us, because it's almost like, damn, these dudes know what we're doing. It can't be that way. You got to be able to play in the NFL and be able to take chances. That's what you have to do. The teams that go to the Super Bowls, the teams that win Super Bowls are the teams that take chances. They aren't the teams that are sitting there scared and worried about this. These are the teams that are saying, we don't care about this. We're going to take the chance. And when your players see that your coaches don't care, it gives them that mentality to say, we don't care who you are. We believe in our coaches, and they tend to play harder and even better. So if you go for that 4th down and you get stopped, the defense comes out there and says, that's all right. We're going to get the ball back for you because we believe in you. That's what it's about, man.
Something strange about that belief, man. But hey, you said it all right there, man. I can't even say anything after that, man. That's what's it.
I need some yak.
I got you, fam.
What you got on tap next, DDP? Talk to me, dog.
Yo, so what do you guys think about Lyle Collins has since come out, and we were talking before about whether or not he would be moving back to guard or if they would keep him at right tackle. He's come out and said that he wants to stay at right tackle. Do you guys think that's the right move? Because I think James, you and I were in the camp saying he would be best suited for guard, but he could still be good at tackle.
Well, if he's saying it, then I'm gonna just go by what Lyle Collins is saying. I think he's a great guard, but I think maybe it's a point where Lyle Collins is like, I'm getting tired of being moved. I don't want to move no more. Y'all had me at guard. Now you had me practice all summer and all training camp and all year to be a tackle. Now you want me to move right back to guard. He's probably just tired of it. And it's like, just leave me here. Let me hone my craft. Let me get good at one position and just leave me alone. And that's what Dallas
needs to do. He can also make more money there too.
Exactly. He's already getting paid big dollar. And we all know that even when you're looking at in the draft, guards don't usually go high in drafts because you don't usually have to pay a guard. You can always find guards in those later rounds. But those tackles are always high priority because they're protecting the quarterback. So just like you said, he got that big money as the tackle last season with the extension. It wouldn't make no sense to move him to guard when you're getting paid tackle money. You have to probably just leave him there. And if he says he feels comfortable and get good and great at it, let him, because he played some nasty, nasty dogs last year, so he can only get better.
I agree 1,000%, man. And when you're talking about playing tackle, it's all about hand placement and how fast you can kick out to as well out of your stance. And it's just a whole different world. You pretty much, when you're playing right tackle, it's just like left tackle. You're on an island to yourself. Of course, you do have a little rapport with the guy next to you. But when you guard, all you got to worry about is clearing out lanes and pushing and pulling. And the thing is, I think that it's all a mental capacity too as well. And when you have a different mindset, like Lyle Collins, of what he's saying is, hey, I want to be the right tackle. I want to be able to protect the right side. I'm already having my hand placement together. I'm already having my kick out stance together. I have my technique down. I don't want to just fool around and change this all up just to appease a certain fan base or certain people out there on the coaching staff. I know what I can do as far as my skill set. And no, I'm not going to just move over like a cheap, So what I'm going to do is, okay, if you want to get me out of this right tackle position, then come for it. Fight me for it. You know what I mean? And I think that Lyle Collins, believe it or not, if you look back when he played left guard too as well, hey, look at what happened. He beat out Ron Leary, both seasons. He beat him out. So
did he?
He beat out. He won. It wasn't given to him. He beat him out, and then when he got injured, when he got injured, they just said, you know what? It was the same scenario. Whereas we winning now, let's just go ahead and keep him in that spot. Trust me.
I don't think he beat him out.
You think that there was just a part of coddling because of the fact that he was a projected first round guy?
Yep. That's exactly what it was. I'm gonna tell you right now, because when Ron Leary didn't have no bad camp. Ron Leary, and as soon as he got hurt, Ron Leary came right in, and what was our offense doing? Mauling and mashing. And Ron Leary was pissed off, and that's why he wanted traded, because guess what? He felt like he didn't have a fair chance. And because that's what Dallas did. They lucked up when he had that problem with the pregnancy with the female, and he didn't get drafted. Dallas scooped him, and they said he is going to be the next guy. So they weren't giving Ron Leary a chance because they weren't anointing him already. So I don't feel like he got a fair shake as far as Leary did. I don't feel like he did get beat out. I feel like that's who they were grooming, and they put him there because as soon as he got hurt, we didn't want Ron Leary to leave because Ron Leary was mashing in 2016.
Okay. So you trying to tell me it's the same philosophy with Bryce Butler? Bryce Butler clearly beat out T. Will last year.
Yeah, it's the same philosophy. They like Terrence Williams. It's who they like. If Dallas likes you, you're gonna play. Period.
Damn it. Well, damn it, it's the coaching staff then. We can blame everything.
Why are we yelling at Tyrone Crawford? What does everybody mad at Tyrone Crawford? Because he makes too much damn money. But who likes him? The coaching staff. So if the coaching staff likes him, guess what? Who plays the most?
The guy they like. So by them not using analytics, they went and used their heart and said,
Exactly.
okay, we gonna use our eyes and not what what the analytics say.
Analysts
And
say you make too much money and you're not a defensive end. The analysts say move your ass back at defensive tackle where you made your money and stay your ass there. That's what the analytics said. But Dallas coaches say, no, he's versatile. Let's move him all the way around. And he does nothing.
so man,
Yeah.
all across the board, you can say that. So you can say that with Byron Jones. You can say that with Crawford. You can say
They
that.
Exactly.
definitely have a thing for getting guys that they say are diverse, but they're good at a lot of things, but they're not great in any one particular area in a lot of cases. And so that leaves you with guys who can, whether it's injuries or whatever, you can plug them in a bunch of different places, but it doesn't necessarily make the team better. It gives you the illusion of depth, is how I feel, as opposed to getting a real difference maker at that position. We took Byron Jones when we could have had God, who's the
Landon
giant
Collins.
safety? Yes, Landon Collins. I was almost saying Landry, and I knew that wasn't right. Landon Collins. Yes, we took Byron Jones over Collins. So, and why? In part
why
because
do
we
we
liked
do it,
how
though?
dynamic.
Right.
Because I think they liked his position flexibility, that he could be corner or he could be safety. And I think they clearly saw him initially more as a safety, and I don't think that was correct at all. I think his on the field production shows that.
But if you would have looked at it, this was a surprise. Like I said, Dallas, they if you look at the tape when you saw him at UConn, he played 2 years at corner, 2 years at safety. Nowhere did you ever see a dynamic playmaker. So that's where I was confused when I went back and I was trying to get excited when they drafted Byron Jones because I knew how bad I wanted a safety. I seen the measurables, but when I looked at his tape, I'm like, this dude don't get no interceptions. Like
Yep.
no time, nowhere. So where is he
Yep.
going all of a sudden come into the NFL and he plays for UConn? He doesn't play for Alabama or Florida State or one of these other top programs. He played for UConn, and he wasn't getting interceptions at UConn. So if you don't get your interceptions at UConn, you're not coming to the NFL getting interceptions, Dallas.
Smells
No
like
doubt,
Vander
no doubt.
Ash. It smells like Vander Ash all over
Exactly.
again.
Don't
It
do
smells
it,
like
Dallas.
it.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say something's going to happen. They
What up,
can't give us Van Der Esch. Something's got to
They
happen.
better.
It's in Dallas. It's in Dallas, especially if they end up cutting Dez. You got to give us something better to cheer for. And no, that does not mean go get a receiver. That means go get someone who's a real impact player. I will jump out of my seat for a Vita Vea. I will jump out of my seat for a Harold Landry. Van Der Esch isn't getting me to do anything other than, I was going to say change the channel, but we're going to be doing a live remote, so I guess I won't be doing that. But yeah, man, they got to do something more impactful than freaking Van Der Esch. There's no way. It's not a guy you take at 19.
Hell no. And if they do, I'm slapping fools.
But watch this. Watch Van Der Esch go to the Patriots and they win like 13-3 games. Everybody gonna be like, see these three guys on this prospect show. Oh man,
care.
they didn't know what the hell they were talking.
Yeah, I don't give a hell. I'm gonna say he went to the damn Patriots and he got coached the hell up because he came to Dallas and we don't know how to coach up those type players. And that's what I'm gonna say to them. So shut the hell up when y'all coming.
Dallas should not take Van Der Esch at 19, and if you think they should, then fight me.
Fight me. You on that triple yak.
Fight me.
Yeah.
That's what our boy RJ Young always says.
Oh yeah, man. Shout out to RJ Young. And shout out to those in the chat box, Italian
Shout
Cowboys.
out to everybody in the chat box. What's
up?
up?
My Cowboys family. JVZ, shout out to you too as well. J Farm, shout out to you too as well. I got that health and wellness system. So shout out to you too as well. Got me all better this week.
Yeah, you ain't doing all that coughing this time.
Right.
Hey, James, I got another question here for you.
Bring it.
I got someone asking, if you're Dallas, would you trade back with New England for their first round pick if it meant picking up an extra pick?
Ooh. Trading back with New England. And
so you stay in the first round, but you're picking up an extra pick.
Look, New England got the 23rd pick, I think, or the 24th, and I think they got the 32nd pick, right?
Yep.
Now,
I believe so. And
quote,
presumably, I don't think you're getting both of those. I think you're getting one and maybe like a 2 or a 3, but let's just roll.
Right. So let's say they need to move up. They need to get a tackle, right?
Yeah, they're going to move up. So they're going to want to trade that pick to move up.
to
and we
get
move back
guards.
down and get an extra pick.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I
So
wouldn't be. I wouldn't trip off of that because I feel like there's enough players that we could still grab somebody. But the only thing I'm worried about, if we move down, we might miss some. We might miss some guys.
And that's why I don't think. That's why I don't
We
think we
might
can
miss.
do it.
Yeah, we might miss some guys because I feel like there's some guys we might miss. No, I'm gonna leave that one alone. But there's some guys.
Yeah.
We need
Yeah.
some guys.
So
I'm not a gambling man myself.
I
Like,
gamble, but we need some guys.
yeah, well, I mean, like, I'm a little bit like, if I know I can get a guy that I really want at 19, I'm not going to roll the dice and say, maybe I could still get a guy I really like and pick up an extra pick.
Yeah,
I'm just going to say, no, I got it here. It's mine to take if I want it. I'm just going to take this and know that at the very least, I got a good pick. I'm not going to keep playing like it's house money and I can just, hit me. Like, there's no sense in that. Just take a good thing when it's there. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth, Yes, exactly.
Anything I want to trade up because I want to trade up and get the guy. You know what I'm saying? I want to trade up and get the guy. I don't want to kind of trade back because I feel like, you know what? We need a guy this year. We need a guy this year in the draft. Much like when we were getting Zeke, you knew our offense was going to change. You knew when we got Zeke, everybody was geeked. Everybody in the whole building knew our offense was going to change. Y'all was in trouble. We knew the league was in trouble when we got Zeke. And I want a guy like that where we can grab on defense. Like, yeah, y'all in trouble now. We got a nasty motherfucker on offense, and we about to have a nasty motherfucker on defense. That's what I want.
there you go. What if let me tell you this though. What if Howard Landry somehow be at the 23rd or 24th pick?
He's not gonna drop that far, Law.
I know, but I'm saying what?
Hey, you know he's not gonna drop that far.
Hey,
So
no,
back up, right? Like taking someone else at 19 or whatever, and then trying to trade back into the first to get Harold Landry.
What was the Atlanta kid from last year that we really was high on, but the Atlanta kind of stepped up?
Oh, Tarkowski, Tarkowski, like
Takaris, UCLA, right?
Yeah,
Takaris McKinley or something?
Yeah, Takaris McKinley. We were going to take him.
Yeah, when I saw tons of mock draft, they had him going around 20, 22nd, 23rd, 24th.
Atlanta did that on purpose because Blank don't like Jerry Jones. I think that was one of the things where you ain't getting him.
Yeah, man. So I mean, it's things to think about, man. I don't know who Patriots, do they have a second round pick?
I don't think they do this year, do they?
They don't.
I don't think they have because they Patriots trade away picks like it ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? They wheel and deal all year. They trade away a pick in a heartbeat just to get a pick. So, they always willing. That's what I like about them because they're not scared to sit still. They're always trying to do something to improve the team. Whatever they got to do to improve the team, that's what they're always trying to do. They're not ever standing pat. They're not ever feeling like we're satisfied. We're good where we got. Even if we went to the Super Bowl, we feel like we got a dynamic team and you got a really nice running back. I'm going to draft a running back behind you who's really good, who's just going to push you.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with competition because if you notice with the Dallas Cowboys, we don't put competition. I've said this before. We don't put competition with our top players. We get a top player and we don't want nobody to bother him. We want him to just be the dog. No, you need to get guys behind them that push them to make them when they wake up and know that, guess what? If I don't perform or I hurt my ankle, I may never get my job back again. Players play better when they play a fear of losing their job.
You're right. And that's what Jimmy Johnson always instilled in everybody. Hey, anybody can be gone at any second, especially the lower people on the lower totem pole of the team. It was always chances for them to get the hell out of there. So, I mean, it's one of the things. You fall asleep in this training class, you gone. Come late for a few meetings, you gone. If you arrive late, if you Michael Irvin, you arrive late, I'm leaving the plane. Even Troy Aikman, I'm driving off. So, yeah, we need to have that type of mentality back on this team. I miss those days. To be honest to you guys, I miss those days.
them other teams have them right now. You know, everybody's talking about Doug Peterson, second year coach. But didn't the year before your guy from Atlanta was a second year coach? Wasn't Quinn a second year or third year coach? But before he went to the Super Bowl, he hadn't been with Atlanta forever. So it's just kind of getting old to see these young or these guys are just coming in, taking these jobs, and they figure out the plan, and then they're getting these guys to the playoffs, and they're consistently staying there. Pete Carroll comes in from college, dominating, takes over the Seahawks, gets to the Super Bowl just like nothing because he came in with a plan, and you could just see the Seahawks were always replenishing. You see what they're doing now. They're getting rid of all the old people and they're coming back new. You get what I'm saying? Those type of philosophies you gotta have, and you gotta have the coaching. You can have all the players, just like I said. This is my frustrating thing, and I hate to beat the dead horse, but we can draft all these damn players all we want to. We can get these free agents all we want to, but if these coaches don't step the hell up, man, it's gonna be the same damn year, man.
And hey, Broussard, man, I don't care what T. Will tweeted out. My thing is with T. Will, he gonna have to get that foot together. That type of injury that T. Will got, you know, it's gonna take about 6 months for that bone to heal. And we saw what it did to Dez. We saw what it did to Julio. We saw what it did to Hakeem Hicks. We know for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, that T. Will is not in the same frame of those guys, or not even in the same production that they have out there. So my thing is, T. Will, if he want to be on this team next year or continue to be on this team, he's going to go on an injury reserve. To me, he's not going to play until week 9. And it's going to be one of those things where at this point, he's not tradable because they're going to look at last year's results, and he's not even cuttable because of his dead money that they will have. So to me, he's going to be on his team, but he just needs to fall back, recoup, and be ready for week 9.
There it is.
Hey, Law, quick note. You were mentioning earlier New England maybe not having a second-round pick. Shout out to J10 Payne in the chat. New England has 2 second-round picks from the Garoppolo deal. They have the 11th pick in the second and 63rd.
Oh, okay. So they got something out of that. Out of that.
So you can still will and deal. I'm not saying that if you're gonna get a Vander Esch anyway, because that's who they saying they're gonna get.
Man, please, Lord, don't. Please, Lord, don't. I'm praying to the football gods for that to happen.
I feel better with a Vander Esch at the 23rd, and then multiple picks within the second. But it's just one of those things. I'm not saying that the Cowboys should just deal or dance with the devil, because you know them damn Patriots, they always figure out a way to craft their way into something and just make things, turn water into wine, turn all this stuff, turn sour bread into cheese. They got ways of just turning things around. So I'm not saying you dance with the devil to get what you want, but man, it's one of those things where if you're gonna pick Vander Esch at 19 and he still could be on the board at 23, man, you might as well get another pick out of it.
Might as well.
So who do you guys think? Yeah. So who do you guys think is going to be the this year?
Oh, man, say that again.
Whether it's a guy with some character problems. I saw that they had, I think it was Arden Key from LSU in. I know he's had some off the field issues as well. Do you think that might be someone that they could end up rolling the dice on, since, like I said, there's one seemingly every year?
Nah, the thing is, Roger Goodell don't like the Cowboys, and if we get an Arden Key, they might find out something that he did 10 years ago, and they're gonna figure out a way to suspend the kid. My thing is, let's just go ahead and get somebody that's clean. Get the choir boy, because we don't have the staff to put people in the right places.
No, because if you got problems, don't come to Dallas. Because if you do drugs, and if you smoke a lot of marijuana, I don't know if you want to come to Dallas. Got a lot of people that got in trouble for smoking weed. So we just
drugs are bad, okay?
It just doesn't seem like we have the great. You seem like some. I'm not saying there's other teams that have bad support systems too, but it just seems like, and Dallas ain't no quiet place. It's high society. You can kick it in Dallas. You can have fun in Dallas. It's fun out here. Out there. So at the end of the day, I just don't feel like they got the support system to where if you get a guy that like the Callaway kid from Florida, the receiver that was really, he's really, really good. but he's he's a knucklehead. So if you had knuckleheads that come to Dallas and they mess up, I just worry that how is he going to be on the straight and narrow? We ain't don't have a good track record of guys leaving us being positive.
hmm Hey, and what was that guy that was drafted with the Denver Broncos? He got caught with weed too as well, or blunts and stuff like that. I think his name was Ray. I think he
Shane
got
Ray.
drafted. Shane Ray, right?
Yeah, that's
Didn't
it.
Yeah.
hear a word from him after that. You know what I mean? I don't know if he
Nope.
ever got suspended or anything. He was just on the up and straight. And
No,
whatever
he didn't get
happened to
suspended.
like he didn't get suspended. Like, and then I can go on for days, like the Frank Clarks of the world. The Seattle Seahawks. They wouldn't drafted that guy. Remember what?
He
Remember
had
before?
problems at Michigan. He had domestic
hmm
violence. He had issues, and you haven't heard. I think he said something silly on Twitter. I think he said, but you haven't heard a lot of crazy issues with these guys and they take chances on them, and they still are productive and don't get in trouble. And then you see us take a chance on a player, and then they never play. I don't get it.
Mm, I'm jealous.
Me, I'm jealous. It makes me mad because you see some of these teams that, like the Patriots and them, they'll gamble on a trouble player and they get them straight. We gamble on a trouble player and they never do anything with us, and then we end up cutting them. And then they go to another team and then they do good.
All the time. Watch if we was to cut
Don't cut
Randy
him.
Gregory.
So Murphy
Oh
sweet.
man, the Cowboys were wrong for letting him go.
That's why Jerry Jones ain't letting him go. Jerry Jones ain't
Uh,
letting him go because he know deep down inside if I cut him, he gonna go somewhere else. He gonna ball out because no matter what anybody tells me, I don't care till you blue in your face. He may not play, but Randy Gregory was nasty. He was nasty. I don't know if he's like that now, but there was a reason why they went and got him, and I told you there's a reason why they gave him a 94 because they knew he was that good. That's why they're
yeah.
still keeping him on the roster because they know he's still that good. You're not going to keep a dude on the roster that long if he ain't good to you.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, DDP, oh hell yeah, I love Arden Key's film. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He's
It's just
nasty.
one of those things. It's
He
just
looks
like a
like
wet
Randy
dream.
Gregory.
There you go.
And guess what? He had Randy Gregory troubles. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
if you look at his
I
frame,
like the talent too.
if you look at his frame, he has a Randy Gregory frame. He's like 6'6". He's like about 240, 242. Randy Gregory came in light. He was only about 245. But some of those guys that come in like that, they play that hyper position, they're stronger than they look. That's why when you watch Randy Gregory, it was like, oh, he's got to put in weight. But he had that good, strong playing strength. He had that wiry strength where he doesn't look like he's strong, but he's stronger than he is. And I think that's what gets you excited about Key. And he's got a good, quick first step. But you just worry about, man, what if he gets in trouble? You need him to be on the
Mm,
field. That's what you worry about. And if
Yeah.
you had red flags in college, you're almost gonna have something in the pros because now you don't have the supervision.
man. And I see people talking about what have Randy done and Arden Key, what have you. But Randy thing is, man, if you just go back and I'm gonna try to show some film on his guy. His band coming off the
Man,
edge is like
gosh,
no other, man. It's
it's sick.
just sweet. It's like,
It's sick.
man,
It's sick.
when you just look at his practice and you can say that's 10 sacks right there. You
You
can't
just look at, you know it.
right off the top, there's 10 sacks.
The dude is sweet, man. I don't care nobody. The dude has that bend. That's what you said, Law. And
Mm,
that bend in them long arms and that
long
frame.
arms.
And he's just that dude that like who Alden Smith is the same type of guy. And what is he doing? He's out the league because guess what? He had red flags in college, and those red flags
Mhm.
showed in the pros. Is a reason. I mean, some kids get it together. Some kids do it. But a lot of times when you have red flags in high school, red flags in college, you're gonna have red flags in the pros.
Right. And for
Yeah.
those who just need some type of
Gregory did himself
comparison.
no favors.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Gregory did himself no
Mhm,
favors by failing the drug test at the combine. As soon as that happened,
mhm.
I mean, you basically have what 3 strikes before you have to serve the year suspension. He was literally on strike one before we even drafted him. So at that
Mhm.
point, that to me that's different. That was a ridiculous risk, I think, for Dallas. I see the talent and I get why they did it. If you can get him straightened out, he can really contribute for you. But look at where we are from it. We haven't been able to reap any benefit from that. If it eventually works out, not I still think for a second round investment, that's not the kind of pick that you can make. Dallas gets way too ballsy with the second round, man. That they take all the guys who are coming off injury or who are character risks around there. we had Bruce Carter, we had Sean Lee. Those aren't characteristics; those are, to be clear, injuries. But we had both of them. Gregory. Who's another one that we had? We had one or two other. Gavin Escobar. That's not an injury. That's just a failure.
Yeah, Gavin. I don't know what the hell they were saying.
That's not to my point. I just still get angry about it irrationally.
Right.
So, but yeah, I just think Dallas. I think Dallas just gets too. For some reason, they think the second round is the swing for the fences round by thinking outside the box, but too rarely do they actually hit on one of those picks. And as a result of that, I think that it's kind of holding back. It's kind of holding you back in terms of your starting lineup, right? Because in the first and second round, you should be filling in either starters or significant rotational players. And when you're taking chances on guys that you're like, well, he's going to be out this entire next year, I don't want that at this point. I don't want that. There's more. There are plenty of guys you can plug in right now that can contribute. A guy like Jalen Smith might ultimately work out. He was a little bit of a different situation just because it was our doctor that did the surgery.
Yes, indeed. So, I mean, shout out to DP Dwayne Porter, man, for making the donation to help grow the nation. But you're talking about when you're talking about gambling, right? He said Tyreek Hill, KC took a gamble on him. Yeah, but we took a gamble on sense of a player that we know for sure had an issue with the weed and everything. But we also made a gamble with Jordan Lewis because at the end of the day, there was a situation where it could have backfired on him because he put all the chips on the board and said, you know what, I'm gonna take this stuff to trial. I'm gonna take this girl to court. And outside of what Ezekiel Elliott did, we didn't know that problem was going to escalate the way it did with Ezekiel Elliott. But the thing is, with Jordan Hill's situation, with Jordan Lewis, I meant to say, and Ezekiel Elliott, what made them two different was at least Jordan Lewis was able to go to court and able to get his name cleared. Ezekiel Elliott never been arrested, you see. So he had no way to really fight his case out in the court of public opinion or to win in the court of courts or what have you. So the thing is, do Jerry Jones fall in love with making a gamble every year? I would say yeah. So if I'm a betting man, what is it, 15 days from now, 16 days from now, we might hear Arden Keys. We might hear Arden Keys' name being called.
Well, we shall see.
Or Callaway, because was it Antonio Callaway?
Yeah, Antonio Callaway. I can see us probably trying to get him late.
Mm-hmm.
But if they get him late, I'm not tripping off of that. Hey, I got a couple questions for y'all.
What about Hill?
I got a couple questions for y'all from some people in the group. All right, group chat. I got Edwin McGill ask about what do y'all think about the Coney Ely signing? That's for both of y'all.
I like it. The guy's got unreal athletic ability. Now, he's not a high sack guy, which for a defensive end might kind of, trip some people out. But, I think I sent a group text to you guys this past week. I think he had something like 9 passes batted down at the line of scrimmage last year. Like that is something that we sorely miss in terms of, you don't always have to get to the quarterback. Sometimes you can just disrupt. And that's one of the unique ways in which you can do it. I like him a lot for a rotational player. I don't think he's going to come in and set the world on fire. But if you're trying to build a dominant defensive line for the first time in God knows how long in Dallas, I think he's a substantial add, and especially at the price you got him at.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Law?
Man, you're talking about a guy that has, like you said, instincts. Those balls that were batted down, that's instincts there. And then you got a guy that can rush too as well. Now, against the run, you can call him probably average at best, but he's going to be a guy that's just going to be able to fly out to the ball. I really think that that's a good depth pick for us. And think about this too as well. We never know how Taco is going to progress. We never know who else, the David Irvin situation. We might end up 16 days from now, looking at a trade for somebody picking up David Irvin.
Uh-oh.
So it could be spicy. So we got to have some type of, plugs in place. So it's a good move altogether. I saw that film of him playing against. I had to go back to the core. I had to go back. What made Coney so special when he played with the Panthers? And it was, he had a big hog up front, Keywan Shorts, another guy. He had Luke Kuechly flying out to the ball. So he was able to play freely, and he wasn't double teamed. So if you have a guy now that's able to fly out to the ball and not going to get double teamed, you got a guy that's gonna make some plays, and that's what we need. We need playmakers, and I think he's gonna do that.
Yeah,
Especially with Rob Marinelli. Don't sleep on Rob Marinelli's front four
I
coaching.
mean, I like him as a defensive line coach. I just don't like how he does all them damn rotation, and he's old as hell. That's the only thing I don't like about him. But I got another question for y'all, and I'm gonna kind of jump in on this one. This is from Taurus Cunningham. Can Taco Charlton bounce back this season? I'm gonna answer this one because I'm gonna write an article on Taco Charlton, and that was my draft pick. I wanted to draft Taco Charlton. A lot of people was bashing me, saying he's a bust, he's this and that. But 3 sacks isn't a bust, especially when you play part time. He didn't get in the lineup like he should have. If you're a first round pick, you need to play more. Now, guess what? DeMarcus Lawrence had a breakout year, and he's a left defensive end. We have a plethora of maybe too many left defensive ends. Our problem is we don't have the right defensive end that can go after the left tackle and make the havoc. That's what we need to find, the right defensive end. Taco Charlton is not a right defensive end. He's a left defensive end. Shimmy Schembechler, who coached him or has ties to him because that's a Michigan guy, basically came to a show and said he's a left defensive end. Where did he get all his sacks? Left defensive end. So I think he's going to be able to bounce back. I think he's going to be a good player. Has a whole year to get weight on him. When he came in, he looked like a small forward. Let him get in some bulk and get up to a big, strong 280. He's got long arms. I think if you've seen him at the University of Michigan, I've seen him at Pickerington Central because it's a school out here. So I've seen him out high school out here. Every single year he got better with more time. When he played and got playing time, he played behind Frank Clark before he went to the Seattle Seahawks.
This come out, by the way, you can read on TheDallasProspect.com. Insert.
Yes, indeed. So I think we lost you a little bit, DDP. But in closing, man, in closing though, if we about to wrap this thing up, I really appreciate everybody that's in the chat box, man. But in closing on Taco, the off-season moves that I want Taco to do is get his lower base stronger, right? Mm-hmm. I want him to be able to understand what position that they have him in, is learning all the knickknacks and paddywhacks to get to the ball. And I think he will get his footing together. So look for year 2 and 3 for him to be even better. So DDP, man, as we wrap this thing up, man, what do we got coming around on the draft? Well, what to expect?
Yeah, so Thursday, the 26th, the day one of the draft, we're going to be doing another live remote at the Mexico Restaurant and Club, same place we did our live show last month. We're going to have the draft up streaming all throughout the restaurant. And we're going to be basically breaking down every pick, letting you know how it affects the Dallas board and all of that. Law, you're going to be there for at least a part of the evening. James, I know you're flying in. We're going to have Computer again as well from 3-6 Mafia. So we're going to have our guys, and we're going to have a good representation, good time, man. I think we might also have some perks that we didn't have the first time around as well.
We better.
Yes, indeed. And
I'm just playing.
Yeah.
Hey, and another thing too,
out with
as well.
us, man.
You know what I'm saying? I'm number one for them perks.
Yes, indeed. And those that's in the chat box, those who are out there watching the show, I want you guys to help us out tremendously by liking this video. Don't forget to share this video as well. And Big Game James, tell them where they can find you at too as well.
Well, y'all can find me, Silver and Blue Nation. We're on Facebook every Sunday. We've got a new time, so if y'all haven't heard, 3:30 to 5 o'clock now, Eastern Central Time. Check us out, Facebook Live. You can also check us out on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Also, if you can't actually watch the show, you can check us out on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Play. Just look up EBSN, Silver and Blue Nation. We'll come right up, and check us out. You want to check out the page? We always got hot stuff. Big Game James page. I am proud of that page because I do go hard in that page. I am proud of that. I try to keep it up to date and, very opinionated on that page. Don't hold nothing back. And that's the way we want to be. I let everybody have their opinion on there. Just don't go crazy on there. You know what I'm saying? But we're definitely not going to be biased on that Cowboys page. We're going to talk real Cowboy stuff. And if you don't like hearing some negative things about the Cowboys, get the hell off of my page.
Yeah, get going. And I'm talking about the baddest, man. I'm talking about the best producer in the land. Producer G is on the ones and twos, guys. Everything that you guys seeing set up right here, right now, is from Producer G. So you
The man
guys don't
front.
forget, man, go to his Facebook page at Silver and Blue Nation. Don't forget to do a review, watch this content, watch his stuff.
Facts.
And man, I'm telling you guys, you will not be disappointed. And if you are, come see me because I got some words for you. Hey, DDP, man, go ahead and tell them, man, where they can find you at too as well.
Yo, so check out the website, thedallasprospect.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe not just to the Dallas Prospect, also subscribe Silver and Blue Nation and Law Nation on YouTube. Like us on Facebook. Find all the great content. As James was saying earlier, every SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Play Store.
All right,
Set.
DDP.
We are everywhere. We are just growing this show, and we're getting better. If you're not already a P1 of this whole setup here that we got, if you're not already a prospect, man, you don't know what you're missing. You should just go ahead and join us now.
There you go, man. That's all our time, man.
That's all our time, man.
I really thank you guys for yours. And remember, you listening to nothing but the best. Salute. We out. Peace.
Every legend was once a prospect.
Every legend was once a prospect, baby.